Hey, everybody. Hey, guys. All right. I'm hoping my mic is working. Can you give me a hello or a hey in the comment section if you can hear me? Hey, Jordan. Hey, Layla and Natilde and 10,000 subs. Okay, so we can hear me? Hey, Ella and what? And Diana and Ayla, Lauren. Okay, awesome. It's working. Good. Sounds good. So I've got my coffee. Eventually, I will not be using the webcam mic because I realize this is kind of grainy. But hey, it's my first shot at this, so this works for now. Oh, it's so great to see all of you guys. Hey, Snow Leopard, thanks so much for watching. And Amber. Oh, Amber, you've been here for a while. Thanks for tuning in. Gymnast Lover, good to see you guys here this morning. Marilyn, oh, hey, it's lovely to see you. Austin, I'm so glad that you made it too. Oh, you guys are all here. This is so lovely. So for my first time talking to you guys live, I thought, as you might guess from the title, that I would go over, for starters, some of the best things about being an amputee, like some of the highlights, and not just about being an amputee, because I feel like that's a little too specific, just about the last 4 months, because this has been a super interesting journey in general. Also, I feel like you might need to see cakes before we start here. Come here, little kitty. I've got my little cakes here. I feel like she doesn't get enough time on camera. I was talking to you guys on Instagram a few minutes before with her. She's always upstairs when I'm filming, so she doesn't get enough time in front of the camera. Hey, JP. Oh, you're watching Jimmy Snow last night. Yeah, it's crazy when two worlds collide. I watched this channel called Mr. Atheist. As you guys know, I'm not an atheist, but I appreciate listening to different worldviews. So anyways, that's what that's about. But she's just going to hang with us for a little while. Just kidding, she's not. So I wanted to, like I said, go over some of the things that have been really cool. Some serious things, some not so much. So also, if you guys have questions, I did want to do kind of just a Q&A at the end. I know that people are always posting questions in the comment sections of my videos, and I try to get as many as I can, but I can't respond to everything, unfortunately. So let's dive in. I made a bit of a list, but I'm probably just going to ramble a little bit, like I do. So so also I am going to try to save most of the questions for the end, most likely. So we'll get to those at the end. The first thing that came to mind about like the best things or the cool things about this journey, it's easy to get bummed out and to think about the frustrating things. Sometimes, you guys know, throughout this whole journey, throughout this whole channel, I try to keep it real and be honest, but the amount of support that I've received, not only from you guys, which has been insane, but from people in real life has been really cool. There was a long period in my life where I was extremely cynical about humanity in general. I did not believe the best in people, because for so long in my life, I believed the best in people, and then a lot of bad stuff happened, as I think we all have experience in. And, people weren't there for me. And I got it in my head that that's how humans were, that people just weren't there for each other. No one would ever be there for me. People would always end up leaving. They'd always betray me. And this is when I was 20, 21. And then my perspective started shifting when we lost our house in a forest fire. This was back a couple years ago. People started really showing up for us. And I started becoming a little less cynical. It's kind of hard to stay cynical when people are giving you Christmas ornaments for your Christmas tree because you've lost everything in a fire. And my perspective continues to shift when I go through another major life change, like having this major surgery and becoming an amputee, because people show up. People I hadn't heard from for years, like my mom's friends from high school, would send me things during the first month after surgery and comment about what I was going through and want to know what was happening. And I think it's really beautiful when we start to realize that we can't really hold on to all of our cynicality. I think that's a word, about humanity. Because I think at our core, we do want to be there for people. People are good. There's some bad apples out there, but that's the first thing that comes to mind. Like it's really hard to stay in a horrible mood for a long time when I think about all the amazing things that people have done. Like there was this one day, I want to say it was about 3 weeks after my surgery, when my friend Mary came over in the morning and she brought this, it was called like a box of sunshine. And I opened up this box and it was just full of yellow things on the inside. And she had put on the inside of the box, like she had taped yellow construction paper and written like a box of sunshine if you get down or something like that. And there were like yellow Tic Tacs and yellow paper and yellow notepads and just everything was bright yellow. And I was so happy, right? That in itself was awesome. But then I am not kidding. I have pictures. I'll see if I can actually find the pictures to show you. And if not, I'll just post them on Instagram later. But later in the day, my friend Jenna literally brought over another box of sunshine, completely different from the one that Mary had made. These people are in different circles. They don't know each other. It was her own take on a box of sunshine. It was also like they were similar enough. And it also said, this is a box of sunshine for you. And it was full of different items that were yellow and happy and just stuff like that. That was a crazy, awesome coincidence that they had obviously spent a lot of time thinking about making, putting together, totally handmade. There was another time where I got a box in the mail from, and this was my mom's, I think, old boss from like 30 years ago, 20 years ago, had sent me a box, and in it was a piece of printed out paper, and it was an article, like things that amputees might need. And one of them was like a patch to sew on your jeans, and another was like hard pressed organic coconut oil, because she had just gone online and printed out a list of what some of the best things new amputees could use were, because she didn't know. Like I didn't know either. And she just bought like 5 of those things and boxed them up and sent them to me. And like people spent significant amount of time and sometimes money thinking to take care of me, even if they haven't seen me in a while. And that was really awesome. So I think the support obviously comes to mind. So let me look at your comments real quick before we get. Oh yes, I like cats, Ellen. I have 2 cats. Jazzy girl, friends like that really are amazing, and I realize how many of them I have, like how many people like that are around me. And my gym, like my jiu-jitsu gym, was very much like that too. Like so many people from my gym were really there for me and really wanted to be there for me. And I'll get to that a little bit more in a second. Chen, the best people will stick by you through your hard times, even if you don't talk as much anymore. That is so true. I wrote on my blog yesterday, Sadie's opening the window, so it got significantly brighter in here. Like it's my inclination to want to isolate myself when I'm having a hard time. Like if I'm going through something, I'm not, like I talk a lot in front of a camera, but I'm not an extrovert. I'm okay with people, but I need to recharge alone. And along with that comes the tendency to like over isolate myself. And so I don't always reach out when I need help. And so there have been a lot of friends that I think I've neglected during my recovery process, and they've still been there for me. Like they've texted me and I've not gotten back to them, or called me and I've not gotten back to them in a timely fashion. And then I've been like, I'm so sorry. Like I was just having a rough time or whatever. And they don't care. Like they're still there for me. And I will be eternally grateful for that. Sincerely. Let's see here. Katie, what are some things you've learned being an amputee? Katie, if I don't get to that question in Q&A, remember, remind me to get back to that. That's a question I would love to address. Etta, thank you. She says, I love how relatable you are. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that. Austin, your hair almost looks like the hood of that shirt. Oh, wow. It actually, I didn't realize how like blended all of this is. I'm very predictable with my color choices. We can say that for sure. Can't wait. So the next thing, this is kind of just a silly thing. Does anyone do jiu-jitsu who's watching right now? Please shout out if you've ever trained in jiu-jitsu. Katrina, I'm glad that you're here. No worries about being late. I'm so glad that you showed up. Ola, you're an amputee. It's been a very tough journey. I totally get that. I absolutely understand. It's not easy. We're getting through it, but It can be a struggle sometimes. Jordan, okay, you train jiu-jitsu. That's awesome. So you'll get this. This may be, I'll go through this quickly because it may be something that not a lot of people get. But in jiu-jitsu, it's a martial art. It's all submission based, right? And so there's like arm bars and chokes and stuff like that. And I'll be training in jiu-jitsu as soon as I can. I talked to my prosthetics guy a couple days ago, and he said realistically it's going to be at least a year from your last surgery, which is going to be in March. I thought I was maybe going to be able to start training in like a month or two. Doesn't look like that, which is a bummer, but hey, everything is temporary. So now that I'm missing a foot, I will be 50% less likely to get heel hooked again. If anyone is into jiu-jitsu, please shout out in the comment section, because if you're not, that probably doesn't make a lot of sense. So let me pull this up here real quick. So one of the biggest goals with this surgery, as you guys know, was to eliminate the ankle pain that I had. And for a long time after surgery, like if this was the ankle pain that I was having, the amputation pain I was having was so severely more, especially phantom pain. But as like months have gone on, it has slowly come down, and now it's honestly less. The frustration with mobility, like having to hop around on crutches and having to learn adjustments to everything, I think the frustration is still significantly more, and it'll be a while until I'm like adjusted to life as an amputee. But the pain is definitely better. Phantom pain still happens. Like I'll still get like zingers. It's like electrical pain. I'll just kind of like jump and yelp sometimes out of nowhere. Brian will tell you, but it is a lot better than it was. So reduced pain is fantastic. That is definitely a really, really, really good thing about being an amputee, and something that I am very, very grateful for. Something that my friend John pointed out to me. I was, as you guys know, pretty frustrated about having to have surgery again. Chen used to say I have a 50% less chance of breaking my leg. That's very accurate, for sure. My friend John was telling me, I was expressing to him how frustrated I was with having to have surgery again. And like, it's been 4 months. I haven't been able to like go back to work consistently. I haven't been able to do anything consistently. Getting places is hard. We're in the middle of winter now. And so it's like really icy and difficult and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like complaining, you know? And he was listening to my complaints because he's a nice friend. And then he suggested kind of a perspective change, which I really appreciated, and said, you know, feel all the things you're feeling, but also you've never really had a chance in your life to slow down. And that's accurate. I've had a lot of stuff happen, but it's always been like one thing happened, and the next thing happened, and the next thing happened. And like, you just have to adjust and deal with it and move on. And that's hard, and it's stressful, and it's very anxiety producing, and it's difficult to adjust to anything when more things just keep happening. Sadie, come here. Come on, Sadie. She's a little upset. Say hi to the camera. She's a big baby, as you guys can see. So he said, you know, at this point in your life, you're kind of being forced to slow down. You have to take things easy. You're not getting out as much. You can't work nearly as much or consistently. Everyone's saying hi to you, Sadie. Thanks, Etta and Katrina. And that's really a gift, and don't waste that gift. And ever since he said that, I've really been thinking about that, and it's true. I have a lot of quiet time. I have a lot of alone time, and I have a lot of time to reflect. And I feel like that's a very almost entitled thing to say, because I realize that a lot of people don't have that, especially after surgery. And I've never had that before any of my surgeries, like in the past 14 years with any of the medical stuff I've had going on. It's always been like, go, go, go. It's always been like, get back to stuff. It's always been like, fill as much time as possible. And now it's just kind of quiet. And so I think one of the greatest gifts in the past few months is that I have had time to actually process things. I've been able to work with a counselor and feel things. And while that is very uncomfortable, it is also a huge gift. And along with that, something that Brian and I addressed in the Q&A we've had a lot of time just alone with each other, just like quietly at home. I am a super homebody. He is definitely not. And so we would always like go out and do stuff on the weekends, you know, go out to restaurants or like go hiking. Well, not hiking, but like go to like public parks and stuff like that and just go do stuff. Take the dogs places. Sadie's licking my hand. Katrina, I'll talk about meditation later. I have tried meditation. It produces a lot of anxiety because you're about to see a cattail. It's her little fan. I have tried meditation and I'm working on it. I'll just say that. But with Brian and I've had to stay home a lot more, right? Because of pain or because I'm really tired or because I'm just adjusting or whatever. And so we've had a lot of great conversations. And I honestly think it's brought us a lot closer together. And during the Q&A, we talked about that a little bit. And we talked about it just like with us a little bit more after that. And it's been really cool to just have a different kind of time together where it wasn't rushed, where we didn't have to go do something, where our schedule wasn't packed, where, you know, we look at the weekend, we're like, okay, what do we have to do? Nothing. Like there's no event that we're committed to. There's no dinner that we have to go to. There's no party that we're doing. Like it's just time with us or just like quiet time hanging out with like a friend or two, you know? That has really been a gift that has been cool and I think has really developed our relationship. And I feel like it could have gone either way. And there definitely have been times where it's been like frustrating because we want to go do something or because he wants to go do something and I don't, because I'm like, no, I'm okay just hanging out at home because I can be home for days and be perfectly happy and content. And he can't, which I can totally understand because, you know, it's a normal thing to want to go out and do stuff and participate in the world where I'm honestly okay to like hang out at home and just do stuff. So it's only produced a tiny bit of conflict. For the most part, it has been great and really deepened and developed our relationship. And I will also always be grateful for that. Let's see. Meditation. Pete says meditation makes me see cattails. Apparently. Also, I'm very glad that Cakes has decided to join us for this this time. This is her spot. She always hangs out right here. She'll actually sleep here most nights. Let's see here. Where are you going in Ireland? I'm going there in May, Kat Warlock says. So we're going a bunch of different places in Ireland. We're going to Dublin. We're going to, I actually don't know the names of the other places yet because my friend arranged the trip and I'm kind of just showing up. I know that's terrible. We're working out kind of the final details. We're leaving in a couple weeks. We're going to be there for a couple weeks, which I think will be really cool. My big goals for the trip are to draw as much as I can because that's something that I can do if I'm in a wheelchair or if I'm just like sitting around while people are doing stuff. And to see a castle or two. I would definitely like to see a castle or two, sit by a lake. I know it's going to be cold and rainy, but still. Magic Cat says Cakes is a fluffy little pancake. She is, actually. We call her a pancake all the time because she's so flat. She's so fluffy, but she's also so flat. Oh, Austin, your cat was growling at Sadie. That's crazy. Etta says to make a rat video in the future. I definitely will. There is one. It's titled... The thumbnail says Bridget on it. You can find it in my past videos if you check it out. Let's see here. So I was just looking at my list there. Other things that have been good about this journey. I think it's promoted the beginning of a lot of growth. And I say the beginning because I think I have a long way to go. I gotta scoot so Cakes can actually have the limelight here. As I have addressed in videos, there are challenges that I've had along this journey that I didn't think I would have. And after this one, let's hop into some of your questions because I'd love to chat about them. The two biggest ones that come to mind that I think I was very naive and or arrogant to think that I wouldn't struggle with are, I didn't think that looking different in public, like being stared at or anything like that, would bother me. I thought that would be like, whatever, fine, who cares? And I didn't think that I would have that much insecurity about what I looked like around my family and friends. Let's see here. Oh, sorry. I just saw a message come up in the chat that was a little bit different. I didn't think either one of those things would really bother me. I thought like, I don't have that much issues with like body image anymore because I worked through so much of that as a teenager with having an eating disorder and everything like that, that like I'm okay. Like I'm okay with how I look. Like it's fine, basically. Yeah, I was so wrong about that. And they have been really large struggles. And so I think in a way, I'm grateful for that because they let me re-examine where I am. They kind of like poke at things I didn't know existed and let me know that there's something to work on there. Like, yeah, you are kind of insecure about this. And yeah, this is something you can work on. And like, why does being stared at in public some days bother me? Not nearly as much as it used to. Like, it's actually okay most of the time now, but like, why does that scare me? Why does that bother me? Why do I think that other random people's opinions of me who are strangers, who I will probably never interact with, and if I did interact with, I'd love to have an actual conversation with and answer any questions that they had. Why does that bother me? And insecurity about what people think who know me think about me, about how I look, like my husband. Like, what's bringing that up? Why don't I trust what they say about me? Why don't I trust that like that my husband is still attracted to me? Or why don't I trust that like my friends don't think I look super weird or whatever? And so it's a good chance for introspection and working through things. So that's kind of like a good and a challenging thing. But let's hop into some of your questions. Let's see. So go ahead and type out some questions, send them in, and I will get to which ones I can. Jeff, it's good to see you. Jeff says, pay no attention to the vanilla faces. He's a good friend of ours in real life. Not that you guys aren't real life, but like I've met him in person I've known him for quite some time. Animal Nerd says, I love your channel. Thank you. And she or he or they are disabled as well. Let's see here. Has this experience made me braver? Serafina Lavali, that's a very pretty name, asks. I don't know if it's made me braver, but it's definitely given me more opportunities to exercise courage. Like the one that I think of the most, it was a day that I did a kind of video about this, but I couldn't focus at home and I had to get some things done on the computer. And usually what I would do, like before I had my leg chopped off, was I would go to like a coffee shop and work. And it was a day that it had snowed the day before. So walking on crutches in snow, very dangerous. I am looking into other options than crutches. I'll update you guys on that momentarily in an upcoming video, I mean. But it takes a lot to like pack up all the stuff that I would need, get it into the car on crutches, and most of all, get from the car into a coffee shop on ice where the coffee shop door doesn't have like the handicap button that can open. And I really didn't want to do that alone. And there was no one who could like come with me that day. And even if there was, I wasn't going to ask them to. So I feel like that's a very small example of courage, but for me, that was like a big deal. And on top of that, I was going to have to sit at a coffee shop alone, sitting there like without a leg, feeling like a weirdo at that point. Again, still working on not feeling like a weirdo sometimes. And I did it. And when I think about like, has this experience made me braver? That's honestly the situation that comes up. I don't think it's made me braver. I think it's given me opportunities to like practice courage and face fears. And that was a day where I actually did do that. Like I did get in that building and I did sit there for a few hours and I did get things done, which was a great accomplishment for me. And I've been able to do that a couple other times. And there was actually a time where I went to another coffee shop to work and it got okay. Like it's gotten easier. I've been able to do that a few more times. And when I was packing up to go, I have this weird, complicated fear of people wanting to help and also a fear of people not wanting to help. Like if I'm struggling to open a door, I know this probably sounds confusing. Like I really want someone to help me, but I also don't want people to see me as needing help. That's just my ego talking. I'm fully aware of that. But as I was packing up to go, like I had like a coffee cup and a drink cup that I had to throw away. The only trash can was on the other side of the coffee shop. It was a pretty big coffee shop and I had my purse and a backpack on crutches. So there was like a lot to carry. And I was like, all right, I'm going to make this work. But then there are two ladies sitting next to me and they're like, can we help you? And it was an opportunity to either like humble myself, accept help, and maybe like have a nice conversation, or just let my ego win and be like, no, I've got it, and try to hobble to the other side of the coffee shop carrying way too many things and looking silly. And so I was like, you know what? That would be lovely. If you could carry these things for me, that would be great. And then we ended up having a great conversation. I met them. One of them was the owner of the coffee shop, and now I know her, and now we chat, and, we formed a relationship because of it. And so I think it's given me a lot of new opportunities to meet people too, which is cool. Like, it's definitely a conversation starter, missing a leg. My disabled perception. Have you had any challenges you weren't expecting? Yes. Oh, also random girl. Thanks for being here. I'll see you later. She says she has to go. Amber also says it's not ego. It's called being a human being. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think it is called being a human being. It's a struggle. The struggle is real. So have I had any challenges I wasn't expecting? Yes. I think most things. I didn't really know what to expect. Like, I don't think you can really know. You can't predict your response to something. I wouldn't necessarily call this traumatic in my life, but to something that is so life-changing. I thought I would know how things would go, but I really didn't. I think the biggest challenge that I wasn't expecting is just how challenging things are at home, especially with our house in particular. We're not planning on moving in the near future, but living in a one-level house would make this a lot easier, because this room, which you guys often see me in, is a pretty small room, but it's the only first level room we have. Thankfully, there is a bathroom here, so I can hang out here and things are okay. And then there's the stairs and the kitchen, and then there's more stairs and the bedrooms. And the stairs are pretty steep, and everything is made of hardwood, so if I fall, it's hard. And there are only so many modifications we can make. So the house we live in has been a challenge that I was not expecting, if that makes sense. Like I said, we've definitely installed some things. We've definitely made some modifications. And when I'm able to walk with my prosthesis, with my prosthetic leg, it will make things easier. And it was making things easier when I was able to use it. But life at home has been the biggest challenge. Going out in public has been okay, because like I said, I usually have help, or I'm able to face some fears, but I am mostly at home, and home is like daily life, and that is challenging. Tropics MSP asks, how much does it cost? How are you coping with the price? Okay, so yeah, we weren't aware. I mean, like, we had estimates of how expensive all of this was going to be, but it's expensive. Like, the prosthetic leg that I got without insurance is $18,000. And that's just the first one. And then you have to have the socket remade every like 4 to 6 months for the first like year and a half. If you were normal. I wasn't normal. I was going to have it remade after 2 months before I ran into the issue with having surgery again, and I couldn't use it. Having a socket remade is like $10,000 again before insurance. We are super, 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 super lucky in America to have decent healthcare insurance through my husband's work. With that said, it's still really expensive. Last year, because I had the amputation was my third surgery that year. We ended up meeting our max out of pocket. So we paid a lot of money in healthcare expenses last year. So we're not swimming in cash, but we made it through. So it worked out. But something people don't tell you about being an amputee is it is extraordinarily expensive. And another big expense is, I haven't faced this yet because I've just been off work, which has not been great. But you have to take so much time off work to go to appointments. Like, a prosthetic appointment is like once a week for a long time, and doctor's appointments. So if you don't have an employer who will work with you, I am grateful that I work for myself. If you don't have an employer that works with you, that is so difficult. I have friends where that is the case, and it can cause problems. Alyssa says that's astonishing. It is crazy, crazy, crazy. And I'm a below knee amputee. Above knee amputees, when you have to have that artificial joint, because my ankle. Sorry, Sadie's chewing on a bone and it's distracting me. Sadie, do you want to choose a less loud toy? Maybe. She looks very confused. I don't think she's going to work with us. Let me know if you can hear that and if it's distracting for you guys. But The joint in my ankle in the prosthetic leg is not a robot joint. There's no computer chip in it. It's just there. It works on the body weight from my body. If I needed a knee, those are generally computerized, for lack of a better term. They get astronomically more expensive, like over $100,000, depending on the leg. So I am really lucky that I got to keep my knee joint. William says he is an above knee amputee. The prosthetic knee cost upwards of $120,000. Yeah, that's so expensive, William. I am really sorry. Etta says, was wondering what that was. Yeah, that's just Sadie chewing on a bone. Natalda says amputees should really get free prosthetics. They need it. I think that there are programs out there that definitely help some amputees, especially like if you don't have, I don't actually know this. I should look into this. I hope there are. If there are, the next merch campaign that I run, I will donate part of the proceeds towards that if there is some kind of organization like that. If that is the case, Tropics, thank you so much. I really super appreciate that. They just donated $5 towards I'm gonna put that towards the surgery bill that's upcoming. So that is so kind of you. Yeah, so the next t-shirt design that I make, which will be upcoming, I will put a percentage of the proceeds towards donating towards a prosthetics company fund, like to get amputees free prosthetics. If that exists, if it exists, let me know. I would love to hear. Jazzy Girl says, will you do a video from your point of view? I'm not sure. Can you clarify what you mean? I would love to answer that question. Chen says, Shriners Hospital in Boston. I'll look into that. Serafina says, how long have you been without your ankle? So 4 months now. Katrina says, wear a GoPro. That would be interesting. In the video that I did with Brian, at the end of the video, he jokingly suggested that he should do a video from his point of view, watching what I do all day and some of the odd modifications I make, like crawling up the stairs like the girl in the ring, which is apparently terrifying to him, whatever. And then we were joking about that he should totally wear a GoPro camera throughout the day and just so you guys can see things from his point of view. He doesn't love being on camera, so I think it would take some real convincing to get him to do anything like that. But I don't know. If you guys keep voting for it, maybe I can get him to be on camera some more for you guys. He's pretty great. I'm a big fan of him anyways. Magic Cat asks, what does ghost pain feel like? And then Maggie asks, has anyone ever been rude? Okay, so I'll get to both those questions. Phantom pain or ghost pain, I call it both. Technically, it's called phantom pain or phantom sensation. Honestly feels just like your foot's still there. Like, legitimately, like, here's my lack of a foot, right? This is the shrinker. It's like a super stretchy, super tight sock that we keep over the prosthetic limb at all times. It literally just feels like my foot is there. Like I feel my toes, my ghost toes, the ones that are definitely not connected to my body. I feel those right now. Like I can't move them super well. It feels like they're kind of stuck in place almost, but I feel that sensation. Like I feel like my leg is still there. So that's the sensation part of it, but the pain part of it, it can vary. It felt like people, this might sound a little gross. It felt like someone was like carving into the side of my foot for some parts after like the first month and a half after surgery was miserable with phantom pain. It felt for days on end like someone was sticking a cattle prod to the bottom of my non-existent foot. Just like shocks of really painful energy were just like stabbing up the bottom of my foot. And then that lasted for a long time. And then eventually it like died down. And then it felt like someone was kind of like putting a cheese grater to the side of my foot. Again, a super kind of gross descriptions, but that's what it felt like. Now it'll feel like, sometimes it'll feel like someone's like stabbing a knife into the side of my foot really quickly, but then it'll go away. That's the great thing about my journey with phantom pain so far, is that it's definitely gotten better. That's not the case for everyone. I consider myself incredibly lucky and grateful that it is getting better. Some days are worse than others. Sometimes I'll just feel like general electrical tingling like throughout my leg, almost like your leg has fallen asleep. But imagine that feeling, except that it's painful. But again, I'll get like a few electrical shocks a day and that's it. Or it'll feel like cramping, like a part of your leg is cramped really bad and it'll like hold on for like 10 seconds and then it'll let go. Now, have people been rude to me because of my amputation? There have been, in real life, no, I'll be honest. People have definitely been weird around me. Hey babe, can you let Sadie outside? Sorry guys, Sadie keeps opening the drapes, which are right behind me because she really wants to go outside. In real life, no one has been rude to me, to my face. People have definitely been uncomfortable because I was there. I described one situation in a video where like I hopped out of a bathroom and I would not fault this person for that whatsoever. But she just like froze up and she was like, and like looked at my leg and looked at me and she was just like, I'm sorry. And then just kind of like walked away. Again, I don't fault her for that whatsoever, but it just made me realize that like, oh, my presence makes people uncomfortable. Or people will like talk to Brian instead of me, or maybe like there's been like one situation where people asked him a question about me. Sorry for all the panting. Sadie's very excited. So in real life, though, people have been nice or have just ignored me. Online, people have been real jerks. Not you guys. You guys are all wonderful and lovely. How does Sadie make you so happy? Brennan asks, because she's the best. She's just the sweetest dog. And I can't wait till my other 2 dogs come home. We're going to go visit them tonight. We always go visit them. Sadie and Monkey. They can't come home just yet. They're still with my parents. They live about 20 minutes away just because they push me sometimes. Like my big 60-pound German Shepherd will jump on me, Sophie, and I can't afford to fall anymore before surgery. But anyways, that's off topic. People online have been incredibly rude and mean and gross to me. It's always funny to me. I'm like, do you really have nothing better to do with your day than like find amputee videos and be super mean to them? That's all right. Like, cool, man. So yeah, that's about it. I've been lucky that there haven't been too many real life experiences that have been super uncomfortable. It's mostly just like the staring. If you're staring at me, obviously, repeatedly, just ask me a question, kind of like I talked about in a video not that long ago. Isa asks, any tips for dealing with mental health, ED, stigma for medical professionals? So mental health, ED, eating disorder, I'm assuming, stigma for mental health professionals, for medical professionals. I'm reading things wrong. Gosh, I have run into that so much, to be honest with you. And that's something I really, really, really struggle with because I've been diagnosed with depression and generalized anxiety and panic disorder and PTSD for a number of years now. And sometimes it's hard to get people to take you seriously when you have those diagnoses or when you bring them up. Sometimes people are incredibly respectful and will ask good questions. And then sometimes people will just completely dismiss you because they think that you're just like nuts or crazy or something like that. You know, I think I'll make a note of that question and try to address that in an upcoming video because off the top of my head, I can't think of any advice other than processing how it makes you feel. But I have not come up with any really good way of dealing with medical professionals other than writing down things you know you want to say, because I don't know about you, but I get overwhelmed sometimes by doctors because they tend to interrupt you. Nothing against doctors. If anyone who is watching this is a doctor or knows a doctor, they have done so much good in my life, obviously, but there's also been a lot of negative things. So bringing people with me to doctor's appointments so that I get out what I need to get out, or if I forget it, they say it for me, has been really helpful. Actually, that is one thing I would advise for dealing with a mental health stigma. That way I have backup. So either writing down what you want to say so you for sure say it, or bringing someone with you so you have backup, or 2 recommendations I definitely would have. Leave the gun, take the cannoli. I feel like that's a quote from a movie that I'm not remembering right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. May ask what happened. Definitely. That the whole story is on my channel. You can find it in the description of this video, actually. But essentially, I had my leg amputated 4 months ago because of a horseback riding accident that happened 14 years ago. And I had many surgeries in between there, and I eventually decided that I was done with living in pain and limited mobility and unable to do anything. The Godfather, I should know that. I was homeschooled. That's my excuse for not knowing pop culture references. I usually just am like, I was homeschooled when I just can't remember anything. It's a lame excuse, I know. What college did you attend in Indiana? Amber asks. Taylor University. Taylor University is in Upland, Indiana. It's a tiny little school in the middle of cornfields. I believe the population of Upland, Indiana is 3,400 people, and like 2,000 of those people are college kids. It was a great school to go to. It's a little bubble. It's like a Christian bubble. It was an interesting experience. I was there for a year. It was a great year, but in retrospect, I'm glad it was only a year because it was extremely sheltered. But the people I got to meet there are relationships that I have to this day and some of the best friends in my life. Isa, you're so welcome. No worries. Brandon says he loves my hair color. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Random asks, what are my least favorite parts of being an amputee? Honestly, I would say the fact that I'm really struggling with the constant setbacks. And I don't like the fact that I am struggling with the constant setbacks. I want to totally be cool with it. I want to be like, oh, this is just how things go. I'm used to it. It's fine. But when I had this amputation done, I wanted to be done with surgeries. Obviously, I knew that was not a for sure thing. Obviously, I knew complications happen. I knew that revisions could happen, but like this amputation was done under perfect conditions. And yet things have gone wrong and gone wrong and gone wrong. And that's the case for a lot of people. I am not a special snowflake with that. And yet I am super frustrated that everything is taking so long and things keep happening and are continuing to happen. Like the surgery itself just got more complicated, which I will update you guys on in a little bit, but it should still just be one surgery. Fingers crossed. I just want to be moving forward, and right now, if I let myself get in this mindset, I feel like I'm stuck, like I'm just standing still. I'm not. Like I can move forward. There are so many things I'm working on in my life. I get to talk to you guys all the time. I get to build this community, which is such a gift and so incredible. But like I want to be walking, like I want to be going back to the gym. I want to be doing things. I can't do that effectively. Like I can do like sit-ups and push-ups at home, but that's about it. So that is, I don't want to say my least favorite part about being an amputee, but that's the thing that comes to mind is just like so much frustration at the constant setbacks that part of me feels like shouldn't happen because I think we should live in a perfect world where nothing bad ever happens. That's sarcasm if I didn't convey that very well. So yeah, so I get frustrated at that for sure. Let's see here. Ash24 asks, are you mad sometimes for what happened to you and your leg? Good question. I'm not mad at anyone or anything or God or the universe. I just get mad. I just get angry sometimes and frustrated at not at anything. I just get mad and angry sometimes because I would prefer that this was not the case sometimes. People ask sometimes questions like, given the choice, would you not have fallen off the horse, and things like that. And I think those are kind of impossible questions to answer. But what I can tell you is, yes, I definitely get super angry about everything in brief moments. I never stay there because I don't see a point in it, but I do think, and my counselor tells me this all the time, I do think it's important to experience emotions because they're there for a reason. And so I try to let myself feel them. Okay, so I'm going to have to hop off in like 10 minutes. So let me get to some more questions here. Let's see here. Paige asked if I could go back in time and stop myself from writing. Would I stop the writing accident? I feel like that is a good topic for a full video. I'm going to make a note of that and come back to that because I have more thoughts on that than we have time to cover here. Going back in time, would I stop it? I'll give you more information on that in the future. Penultimate Hortador. I know I've seen your comments come up and talk to you before. I've never figured out how to say your username correctly. I have mastered the arts of rats and cats living together. What is my secret? They live in different rooms. The rats have literally their own room. And it's like my art room, my yoga room, my hanging out and books and stuff like that room. But they are in that room. And the cats are not. That door stays closed if the cats are out. Like it's a big room. They're not suffering in there. They have big cages in there too. And I'll let them out and they'll run around there. But I don't know that the cats would actually hurt them, but the cats have all their claws, so I don't know that the cats wouldn't hurt them either. And I don't want to take that chance because I love all of them. I said, do you plan any more live streams? Definitely. Let me know what you guys think about this. I would definitely like to do more live streams and maybe make it like a weekly, bi-weekly, or once a month thing. So I enjoy being able to actually talk to you guys. Like I said, I try to get back to as many comments as I can, but there's only so many that I can. Let's see here. Someone asked me to virtual head scratch my cat. So here you go. That is for, penultimate Hortado. Austin, you should let us send you photographs and we can pay you to do drawings of them. Aw, thanks so much for asking. I have done commissioned art in the past. I do struggle with commissioned art because I used to want to make it look like perfect. So if people were okay with me making interpretive art and just kind of having fun with it, I would totally be open to that because someone else asked if I made commissioned art. Boop her nose. I'll just boop her little face there. She's so sweet, isn't she? She loves being pet. And weirdly, she also loves her belly being rubbed. Does anyone else have a cat that loves its belly being rubbed? Look how happy she is. By the way, she's not fat. That's just like all fluff. She's actually a pancake. Etta says art is supposed to be fun. That's so true. Kristen, I'm sorry you keep losing your connection. My favorite food is unfortunately pizza and ice cream. I wish I could say something cool like Brussels sprouts and kale and be super healthy, but it's definitely ice cream and pizza, 100%. Kristen says my house panther would take your hand off. Oh goodness. For rubbing its belly. I totally understand that. Our other cat, Lewis, will murder you if you try to touch his little belly. Let's see here. Let me get a couple more. Diana says there's nothing wrong with pizza and ice cream. I'm glad you guys don't think so. I'm a big fan. Isa says dark chocolate or white chocolate. Dark. Every time. All the time. Soul Survivor. Did I go on any special diet after amputation? No, I didn't. I have tried a ton of special diets for migraines in the past. Like I've done the gluten-free thing consistently. It didn't help. I've done the dairy-free thing consistently. It didn't help. I've tried a lot of different things and nothing had any real effect. And so I didn't go on any special diet after amputation. My family really tried to just like make me eat. Because recovering from surgery, I just didn't have any appetite and I lost weight along with losing weight from losing my leg. Cause you lose like a solid, like someone my size loses like 7 pounds at least from that. I'm still kind of struggling to like eat consistently. Just cause like appetite's a weird thing for me in what I'm super stressed out recovering from surgery. So I just try to eat whatever I can, whenever I can. Definitely no special diet, just eating food consistently. Brennan says I lost double weight. Basically, that's accurate. Dunkin' or Starbucks? Both. Probably Dunkin'. Zoe asks, have I heard of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome? Yes. And I really want to get tested for it because I honestly think I might have it. I've always thought that. I am crazy flexible for no good reason. I'll show you guys sometime, like the things I can do, like with my arms behind my head, and like I can put, I am so flexible. I always have been, and there are a lot of other symptoms I have. That doesn't mean that I have it. It just means that, and like with the pain that I have everywhere all the time, it kind of makes me think that I might have it. I have tried Tim Hortons, Diana, and it's marvelous. I don't care what Brian says. I'm just noticing that there's more cat hair everywhere. It's great. What are your top home adaptations? Jade asks. You're a soon-to-be amputee. Well, first off, welcome to the soon-to-be amputee club. We are happy to have you, but I'm also really sorry that this is something that you're facing. Something that was really helpful is to put handles on your toilet seat. If there is a bathroom modification tour, it's one of like the first 10 videos on my channel. If you go back, take a look at that. Those are the ones I'll recommend. Having like handles on the toilet seat that could catch me when I was dizzy from falling was really helpful, because after surgery, you're on drugs and you're trying to adjust to the entire weight dynamic of your body being shifted. With that being said, it's difficult sometimes trying to sit down on one leg. Even though like I was used to being on crutches, sometimes I had difficulty. And so it was great to have something to hold on to. Let's see here. Julie Rocco, hey, by the way, says my house is constantly filled with animal flu. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I really do try to keep up with it. It really doesn't work, as you guys have seen over and over again. Soul Survivor says my dog helped me to heal as an amputee. Yes, me too. Sadie has been incredibly helpful, and my other dogs who we go visit all the time, like I said, they are just so healing and so amazing because they just want to help. They don't care. Actually, that was on my list too, that my animals have really drawn closer to me, especially weirdly the cats. It's like they knew that I needed healing, and so they have been ridiculously cuddly. Like Cakes, the cat who just left, would sit on my shoulder like every night, would just like curl up to me on my chest even and just purr and be there for me. So sweet. So, all right, I'm going to have to hop off. I am headed out. But this has been delightful. Thank you for spending part of your Sunday morning with me. It's wonderful. I think the next one I'll schedule for like maybe even like later on a Friday night, maybe on a Saturday morning. I know some people are probably at church depending on your time zone right now. If you go to church, I know some people do. Like actually go to a church on a Sunday morning. So bye, everybody. It has been wonderful to chat with you, and I will let you know when I schedule the next one. You are all wonderful. I really cannot thank you enough for spending your time with me, for supporting me, for everything that you do. You're wonderful. Mwah. Enjoy your day. I'll talk to you soon.